Why Indian national on F-1 OPT EAD visa should apply for a green card at the earliest. An Indian national on an F-1 OPT EAD visa should apply for a green card to bypass the highly competitive H-1B lottery cap, secure uncapped long-term employment freedom, and lock in an early priority date to combat the decades-long backlog for Indian nationals. Tightening U.S. immigration policies make transitioning directly from an F-1 OPT EAD visa to permanent residency an increasingly vital strategy for career stability. Severe backlogs require an early priority date, decades-long waiting lists. Due to country-specific caps, Indian applicants face massive backlogs in standard employment categories like EB2 and EB3. The priority date advantage. Your place in the green card line is determined by your priority date, the day your application is officially filed. Compounding delays. Waiting until you secure an H-1B visa or finish years of OPT means delaying your filing date, pushing your eventual permanent residency approval even further into the future.
For Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders, a green card priority date is essentially your official spot in line to apply for lawful permanent residency. Because the U.S. government strictly caps the number of visas available each year, it dictates exactly when you can file your final application and legally receive your green card. The priority date is incredibly important for several distinct reasons. Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holder will get a priority date as soon as your employer files the Perm Labor Certification with USCIS. Priority date determines your place in line. It acts as a queue ticket. For most employment-based categories, your priority date is the day labor certification is received by the Department of Labor. Priority date controls when you can file, dates for filing. When this date reaches the cutoff date listed in the monthly visa bulletin, you can file your Form I-485, Adjustment of Status. This milestone allows you for concurrent benefits like an Employment Authorization Document, EAD, and Advance Parole Travel Document. Priority date determines final green card approval. Final action date. Your priority date must be earlier than the final action date listed in the visa bulletin. For your specific country of chargeability and preference category, before USCIS can approve your green card and issue the physical visa. Priority date accounts for country backlogs. U.S. immigration laws limit any single country to 7% of the total worldwide visa allocation. Because countries like India and China have disproportionately high application volumes, priority dates in those categories can face massive backlogs, causing waits that can stretch into many years. Filing early for a green card for an Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holder locks in an early priority date. For Indian nationals facing decades-long employment-based backlogs, this establishes your place in line as early as possible. Because Indian-born applicants face significant statutory backlogs, establishing and holding an early priority date is the most impactful step you can take. The key benefits of securing this date while transitioning through F-1 OPT status include locking in the priority date. Your priority date is the day your perm labor application is received by USCIS. Your priority date determines your spot in the visa queue. Getting this done on an F-1 OPT gives you a massive head start over waiting until you secure an H-1B visa. H-1B cap exemption and extensions. Once you have an approved I-140 petition, it provides the foundation to extend your H-1B status beyond the standard 6-year limit in 1-year or 3-year increments while you wait for your green card to become current. Does F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals need H-1B visa before starting their EB2 or EB3 green card process? No, F-1 OPT STEM OPT EAD Indian nationals do not legally need an H-1B visa to start or file the initial stages of an EB2 or EB3 green card process. An employer can sponsor an employee for a green card at any time, even while they are on an F-1 OPT EAD visa. However, for Indian nationals, transitioning to an H-1B visa is practically needed to maintain legal work authorization due to severe backlogs. The H-1B bridge. Because Indian nationals face decades-long wait times for EB2 and EB3 priority dates, your H-1B would bridge the gap between your F-1 OPT EAD and until your green card is ready. Filing early for a green card for an Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders locks in an early priority date. For Indian nationals facing decades-long employment-based backlogs, this establishes your place in line as early as possible. Because Indian-born applicants face significant statutory backlogs, establishing and holding an early priority date is the most impactful step you can take. The key benefits of securing this date while transitioning through F-1 OPT status include locking in the priority date. For Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders, your priority date is the day your perm labor application is received by USCIS. Your priority date determines your spot in the visa queue. Getting this done on an F-1 OPT gives you a massive head start over waiting until you secure an H-1B visa. H-1B cap exemption and extensions. For Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders, once you have an approved I-140 petition, it provides the foundation to extend your H-1B status beyond the standard 6-year limit in 1-year or 3-year increments while you wait for your green card to become current. How the green card process works on OPT? An employer can file the first 2 stages of the green card process while you are on an F-1 OPT EAD. 1. Perm labor certification. The employer tests the job market. Filing this does not violate your F-1 OPT EAD status. 2. Form I-140 immigrant petition. The employer files this to prove you qualify. Filing an I-140 does not violate your F-1 OPT EAD status. Why Indian nationals need an H-1B anyway? The H-1B extension is your lifeline. Since your 3-year STEM OPT will expire long before your priority date is current, you need an H-1B visa to stay and work in the US. Once your I-140 is approved, the H-1B visa can be indefinitely in 3-year increments while you wait for your green card.
F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals. What should I do if my employer refuses to sponsor your green card? If your current employer refuses to sponsor your green card, you must take proactive steps to switch to a green card-friendly employer, as the employment-based green card backlog for Indian nationals spans several decades, making long-term non-immigrant status. Because an F-1 OPT or STEM OPT visa has a strict time limit to 3 years and does not inherently allow dual intent, you need to map out your backup options immediately. Switch to a green card-friendly employer. If your current company has a policy against green card sponsorship, you should look for a new job. If your employer refuses to sponsor employment-based green cards, you must proactively secure a new employer that offers immigration sponsorship. Maximize your STEM OPT timeframe to remain in the US legally. Because Indian nationals face severe backlogs for employment-based green cards, securing a company that will enter the H-1B lottery and establish an early priority is vital to your long-term residency plans. Maximize your current F-1 OPT STEM OPT timeline. Utilize all 36 months. If you qualify for a STEM extension, maximize your 3-year window. Orchestrate a job switch to a sponsoring employer. Filter for sponsoring companies. Ask vetting questions early. Confirm a company's strict policy on H-1B and green card sponsorship during initial recruiter screenings. Request immediate perm initiation. When negotiating a new job offer, request a written commitment stating that your perm labor certification will begin within your first 6 months of employment. Explore alternative visa routes. Evaluate Day 1 CPT. If your OPT expires before securing her, you can enroll in a university offering Day 1 CPT to maintain work authorization.
EB2 or EB3? Which green card category is better for Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders? EB2 is generally better for Indian F-1 OPT EAD visa holders because it positions you in a higher preference tier and avoids volatile down-tiering that heavily impacts the EB3 queue. However, given the severe multi-decade green card backlog for India, both categories function similarly as long-term holding patterns while on an H-1B visa. Here are the key differences between EB2 and EB3. Let's compare the EB2 and EB3 green card categories. For EB2, you generally need a master's degree. Both categories a perm labor certification. Why EB2 is predominantly advantageous? H-1B extension stability. Securing an approved I-140 in either category allows for indefinite H-1B visa extensions beyond the standard 6-year limit. However, entering the system via EB2 leaves you with more lateral options later on. Downgrade flexibility. It is legally possible to downgrade an EB2 petition to EB3 if the EB3 visa bulletin dates temporarily move ahead of EB2. You cannot upgrade an EB3 to an EB2 without an entirely new perm and higher corporate job requirements. Reality of the visa bulletin for Indian nationals. According to the latest August 2026 visa bulletin, the U.S. Department of State listed India EB2 as unavailable because the annual per-country caps for fiscal year 2026 were entirely exhausted. The dates will reset with a major advancement when the new fiscal year opens on October 1, 2026. Meanwhile, India EB3 sits at a final action date of January 1, 2014. Because both categories have decade wait times for Indian nationals, the primary goal for an F1 student is securing any approved I-140 to remain in the country safely. Can Indian nationals on F-1 OPT EAD visa have both EB2 and EB3 or I-140 petition approved simultaneously? Yes, an Indian national on an F-1 OPT EAD visa can have both an EB2 and an EB3 I-140 petition approved simultaneously. United States Citizenship and Immigration Services allows an individual to have multiple immigrant petitions pending or approved at the same time. This strategy, often called an EB3 downgrade or maintaining concurrent tracks, is illegal and frequently used by Indian nationals to take advantage of shifting backlogs in the visa bulletin. Holding these dual approvals while remaining on an F-1 OPT EAD student visa comes with significant benefits. Maintaining dual approvals. Priority date retention. Whichever I-140 was filed first establishes your priority date. You can port this priority date to the other approved I-140 category to secure the earliest possible place in line. No automatic cancellation. An employer can file a new EB3 petition based on a previous EB2 perm labor certification if qualified. This results in two separate, valid approved I-140 petitions. While U.S. allows multiple filings, having any approved Form I-140 heavily impacts an F-1 visa holder due to the concept of immigrant intent. F-1 status and CPT OPT extensions. As per official USCIS policy manual updates, an F-1 student can have an approved I-140 and still apply for OPT, STEM OPT extensions, or change schools while inside the U.S. The Indian backlog dilemma. Most students transition from F-1 OPT to a dual-intent visa like the H-1B to travel safely and renew their status indefinitely while waiting.
Can I file my green card while I am on F-1 OPT EAD visa as an Indian national? Every day, hundreds of F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals ask us the same question. Can I start filing my green card while I am on F-1 OPT EAD? Yes, Indian nationals can certainly start filing your green card while you are on F-1 OPT EAD. This is the best possible approach for Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders to stand in queue for your green card. If you start filing your green card as soon as you get a job from an employer on your OPT EAD, Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders may save at least 3 to 5 years of time by standing in queue for your green card. Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders will get a priority date, PD, as soon as your employer files the perm labor certification with USCIS. Obtaining a priority date, or PD, is a golden and official spot reserved by USCIS for green card applicants. Priority date offers first-come, first-served basis by USCIS for all EB2 and EB3 green card applicants. A green card priority date is essentially your official spot in line to apply for lawful permanent residency. Because the US government strictly caps the number of visas available each year, it dictates exactly when you can file your final application and legally receive your green card. F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals. Higher salary or green card sponsorship? What should be my important priority? Securing an EB2 or EB3 green card sponsorship to secure an approved Form I-140 is a much more critical long-term priority than chasing a slightly higher initial salary. As an Indian national on an F-1 OPT EAD, your primary risk is the strict limit on your temporary status, making immigration stability your foundation for future wealth. Why green card sponsorship I-140 matters more. H-1B Extension Lifeline. The green card backlog for India under EB2 and EB3 spans over a decade. However, getting an employer to successfully file your perm labor certification and achieve an approved Form I-140 grants you a critical benefit. You are the legal right to extend your H-1B visa indefinitely past its 6-year limit. Protection against layoffs. If you lose your job while on an H-1B visa, you only have a 60-day grace period to find a new employer. Having a locked-in priority date from an approved I-140 means you can carry that place in line over to any new employer who sponsors you later. Future earning potential. A slightly higher salary today on an OPT EAD means nothing if you run out of visa status and must leave the US. Securing your legal status early guarantees you can stay in the country long enough to climb the corporate ladder and eventually command much higher wages. Spousal work authorization. Once your I-140 is approved and you are on an H-1B visa, your spouse becomes eligible for an H-4 EAD work permit. This unlocks a second income stream that easily offsets a lower starting salary at your primary job. Comparative overview. Strategic roadmap for F-1 OPT students. Prioritize the sponsor. When evaluating job offers, explicitly ask the HR team about their corporate policy regarding green card filings and H-1B visa sponsorship. Negotiate timing, not just cash. If a company offers you a slightly lower salary, negotiate a written clause into your offer letter stating that they will initiate your perm green card process within your first 6 months of employment. Track the visa bulletin. Be prepared to navigate changing rules. For instance, you can file under EB2 and later downgrade to EB3 if the visa bulletin shifts to make EB3 move faster for India. F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals. When is the best time to file for an EB2, EB3 green card? The best time to file the initial stages of an EB2 or EB3 green card is as early as possible during your first year of initial 12-month F-1 OPT EAD. Because you face massive backlogs for Indian employment-based green cards and strict limits on F-1 non-immigrant intent, precise timing is everything. Initiating the process early maximizes your chances of securing a priority date and transitioning smoothly to an H-1B visa or another dual intent status before your OPT expires. Phase 1. The initial 12-month OPT. The optimal window. You should ideally convince your employer to start the perm labor certification process within your first 6 months of OPT. Dual intent conflict. The F-1 OPT EAD visa is a non-immigrant visa. Filing the initial perm stage does not signal immigrant intent to USCIS. Travel safety. You can safely travel internationally and renew your F-1 OPT EAD visa stamp while the perm is pending. Processing deadlines. The PERM process, including prevailing wage determination, recruitment, and ETA 9089 processing, takes roughly 12 to 18 months. Starting in your first year ensures it completes before your extension periods run out. Phase 2. The 24-month STEM OPT extension. The transition window. If you qualify for a STEM OPT extension, this gives you a total of 36 months of work authorization. The H-1B cap bridge. Use this window to enter the annual H-1B visa lottery. Filing the I-140. Once your perm is approved, your employer can file the Form I-140. If you must travel abroad or renew your F-1 visa or STEM OPT, consult an attorney before filing the I-140. The Indian backlog reality. Because EB2 and EB3 visas for Indian nationals are backlogged by over a decade, you will not be able to file Form I-485, Adjustment of Status, during your OPT. Your goal on OPT is simply to get the I-140 approved to lock in your priority date. Phase 3. The post-OPT strategy. The safety net. Because you cannot get a green card before your 3 years of OPT expire, you must transition to a visa type that allows dual intent to stay in the US long-term. H-1B visa. This is the most common route. Once your I-140 is approved, you can extend your H-1B visa indefinitely past its standard 6-year limit while you wait for your green card priority date to become current. Day 1 CPT. If you fail to get an H-1B before your STEM OPT expires, some a new master's degree program offering Day 1 CPT to maintain work authorization. Current visa bulletin environment. Mid-2026. Keep a close eye on the USCIS visa bulletin. For example, the EB2 India category has completely exhausted its annual quota for the current fiscal year, meaning no final green card approvals can occur until the limits reset on October 1, 2026. This emphasizes why getting your labor certification and I-140 approved early is critical. You are strictly racing against annual numerical caps. Annual caps exhausted. The US government met its statutory limit for EB2 visas for Indian nationals early. As a result, no green cards can be physically issued under EB2 until the new fiscal year, FY 2027, begins. The spillover effect. Historically, when other countries do not exhaust their allocated EB3 quotas, those excess numbers shift to highly backlogged nations like India. This frequently causes EB3 India to move faster than EB2.
How to get a green card prevailing wage determination, PWD, approved for F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals? To get a green card prevailing wage determination, PWD, approved as an Indian national on an F-1 OPT EAD visa, your employer must submit Form ETA 9141 to the Department of Labor, DOL, via the FLAG system. The PWD is the mandatory first step of the PERM labor certification process. It sets the minimum wage your employer must pay you to ensure it does not negatively impact U.S. workers. Because Indian nationals face severe green card backlogs, initiating this early while on OPT provides critical timeline advantages. Step-by-step PWD approval process. The PWD process is entirely employer-driven. You cannot file it yourself. 1. Job description finalization. Your employer's legal team drafts a detailed list of job duties, minimum requirements including education, experience, and the exact work location. 2. SOC code mapping. The employer matches your role to a standard occupational classification code from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. 3. Form ETA 9141 submission. The employer submits the application electronically through the DOL FLAG account. 4. DOL review. The DOL analyzes the geographic area and job requirements to assign a wage level. These levels range from 1 to 4. 5. PWD issuance. The DOL approves and issues the official prevailing wage determination. Key timelines and current delays. Processing window. Currently, standard PWD processing times take 6 to 7 months. No premium processing. The DOL does not offer an expedited or premium processing option for the PWD stage. Validity period. Once approved, a PWD is valid for 90 days to 1 year from the date of issuance. Your employer must begin the PERM recruitment phase within this window. The strategic roadmap from OPT to green card. For an Indian national on an F-1 OPT EAD, the PWD is part of a larger multi-step immigration strategy. Step 1. PWD approval. Establishes the required for 90 rate for your role. Step 2. PRM recruitment. The employer runs mandatory job ads. This is to test the U.S. labor market. Step 3. PERM Form ETA 9089 filing. Submitted after recruitment. Processing currently takes 12 to 14 months. Step 4. Form I-140 petition. Filed with USCIS once PERM is approved. You can use premium processing, $2,965 fee, to get an adjudication in 15 business days. The entire PERM process takes roughly 18 to 22 months. Use H-1B visa bridge. Because of the extensive backlogs for Indian nationals in the EB2 and EB3 categories, to stay in the U.S. legally for the long term, you need your employer to file the H-1B visa. The H-1B visa allows dual intent, meaning you can freely travel and extend your stay indefinitely once your I-140 is approved. Your H-1B visa acts as a bridge between your F-1 OPT EAD and green cards. For F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals, Green Card recruitment campaign, focusing on advertising and hiring. A Green Card recruitment campaign refers to the mandatory advertising and hiring phase an employer must run before sponsoring an F-1 OPT EAD visa holder for a permanent-based Green Card. This process, governed by the U.S. Department of Labor, DOL, is part of the PERM labor certification stage. For Indian nationals on F-1 OPT EAD, starting this recruitment campaign early is a critical strategy to secure an official priority date, your spot in the Green Card line, while still on student work authorization. The three-step PERM recruitment process. The employer must prove to the DOL that there are no minimally qualified, available U.S. workers for your position. They must place a series of specific advertisements. Prevailing wage request. Employer requests the mandatory minimum salary from the DOL. 30-day job order. A mandatory job posting is opened with the local state workforce agency. 2 Sunday newspapers. Advertisements are placed in a major newspaper of general circulation in the area of employment. 3 additional steps. For professional positions typical for F-1 graduates, the employer must pick 3 extra recruitment channels from a DOL-approved list, such as job search websites, campus placement, or employee referral programs. 30-day cooling-off period. Employer must wait 30 days after the last ad runs to give local applicants time to apply. Timeline and processing speed. Recruitment preparation. 1 to 2 months. Active recruitment and cooling off. 2 months. PERM filing ETA Form 9089 is submitted after the cooling off period. DOL review. Standard processing takes 6 to 12 months. If audited, it can add an extra 6 to 12 months. Strategic advantages. For Indian F-1 OPT EAD holders. 1. Locking a priority date early. The date your employer files the PERM application becomes your official priority date. Because Indian nationals face massive 10+ years backlogs in the EB2 and EB3 category, establishing this date as early as possible, even while on your initial 1-year OPT or 2-year STEM OPT extension, is incredibly advantageous. 2. Bypassing the H-1B lottery risk. You do not need an H-1B visa to be sponsored for a Green Card. Given the low selection rates of the H-1B lottery, starting the PERM process on an F-1 OPT EAD ensures that your Green Card clock is ticking even if your H-1B is never selected. 3. Dual intent navigational rules. Filing a PERM recruitment campaign does not impact your F-1 OPT EAD status. You can safely continue working on your active F-1 OPT EAD. Once your PERM is certified, your employer files the Form I-140 immigrant petition. Approved PWD, benefits of an EB2, EB3 Green Card. Approved PWD for Indian nationals on F-1 OPT EAD visa. An approved prevailing wage determination, PWD, is the critical first stage of the PERM labor certification process. While it represents essential forward momentum, its practical and immediate benefits for an Indian on an F-1 OPT STEM OPT are highly strategic rather than immediate in nature. Immediate protections and strategic advantages. Establishes salary protections. The PWD forces your employer to officially lock in the minimum required wage they must pay you once your Green Card is approved. Demonstrates employer commitment. Pursuing a PWD acts as concrete proof of their long-term intent to sponsor you, giving you career clarity while navigating your limited F-1 OPT timeline. Kickstarts the Green Card timeline. Because Indian nationals face massive backlogs in EB2 and EB3 categories. Starting the PWD phase early is the only way to advance toward filing the I-140 petition. The I-140 is what ultimately secures your permanent priority date, your place in the Green Card line. Next steps to maximize benefits. To leverage this approved PWD into long-term stability, work closely with your employer's legal team to execute the following pipeline. The first step is an approved PWD. Then, the mandatory recruitment phase. Next, we file the PERM application. Finally, file the I-140 petition. Enter the recruitment phase. Your employer will use the approved PWD to run mandatory job advertisements to test the U.S. labor market. File the perm. Once recruitment concludes, your employer will file the perm application to secure your official priority date. Aim for the I-140 approval. Once the perm is approved, your employer files the Form I-140. An approved I-140 is the ultimate goal for Indian nationals. It allows you to get infinite 3-year H-1B extensions beyond the standard 6-year limit while you wait out the backlogs.
Perm. How to get an EB2 or EB3 green card. Get perm approved for F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals. Filing a green card program electronic review management perm labor certification while on an F-1 OPT EAD is entirely legal and very much possible. Filing a perm with the Department of Labor is entirely legal for OPT EAD VAD visa holders. Because Indian nationals face decades-long wait times for EB2 and EB3 priority dates, your H-1B would bridge the gap between your F-1 OPT EAD, and until your green card is ready, you must view the perm as a head start on your green card timeline while actively seeking a H-1B visa. Let's review the green card process. There are 4 main stages. We begin with the prevailing wage and recruitment. Then, we file the perm and I-140. Prevailing wage determination, PWD. Your employer submits job details to the DOL to establish the minimum salary required for the role. Labor market recruitment. The employer tests the U.S. job market by running mandatory advertisements to prove no minimally qualified U.S. worker is available. Perm Form ETA 9089 submission. The employer officially files the perm. This anchors your priority date, your place in the green card line. The Form I-140 petition. Once the perm is approved, your employer files Form I-140 with USCIS to lock in your priority date indefinitely. Approved perm, benefits of an EB2, EB3 green card. Approved perm for Indian nationals on F-1 OPT EAD visa. An approved perm labor certification provides substantial, immediate, and long-term benefits to an Indian national on an F-1 OPT STEM OPT EAD by anchoring their multi-year transition into the U.S. employment-based immigration pipeline. While it does not automatically grant a green card due to extensive per-country visa backlogs for India, it is the essential gateway that legally unlocks H-1B extensions, safeguards your place in line, and bridges the gap between temporary student status and permanent residency. Long-term status security locks in your priority date. The day your employer files the perm, it becomes your permanent priority date, establishing your official place in the green card queue. Portability to future employers. Once your subsequent Form I-140 is approved, you retain this early priority date forever. Even if you change employers or transition to a different EB2 or EB3 visa category later. Unlimited H-1B extensions. An approved perm or an I-140 approved as a subsequent step allows you to bypass the statutory 6-year maximum cap on H-1B visas, granting you extensions in 1-year or 3-year increments indefinitely while your green card is backlogged. Immediate professional safety nets. Reduces H-1B lottery pressure. While you still need to secure an H-1B or another dual-intent visa to stay long-term, having an early approved PRM accelerates your green card timeline from day 1 of getting that visa. Demonstrates employer commitment. Sponsoring a PRM requires substantial financial investment and strict regulatory testing from your employer, cementing your long-term value to the company. This establishes a path to family immigration. Securing this initial phase ensures that your eventual green card path will automatically include your future spouse and unmarried children under 21 as derivative beneficiaries. Navigating F-1 single intent restrictions, she maintains current F-1 OPT compliance. An approved perm belongs to the employer, meaning it does not legally disrupt your current F-1 student status or your active OPT or STEM OPT work authorization.
Approved I-140. Benefits of an EB2 or EB3 green card. Approved I-140 for Indian nationals on F-1 OPT EAD visa. An approved Form I-140 in the EB2 or EB3 category provides massive career-altering safety nets for Indian nationals currently on an F-1 OPT or STEM OP40. Benefits of most notably by securing an official green card backlog priority date and granting the ability to extend an H-1B visa, indefinitely past its standard 6-year limit once transitioned. While an approved I-140 date does not instantly grant permanent residency, due to the extensive USCIS Indian visa backlogs, it fundamentally changes your immigration leverage. Due to the hard-locking your priority date, backlog protection. Your priority date is your official placeholder in the green card waiting line. Due permanent spot. Once an I-140 is approved and active for 180 days, that specific date belongs to you permanently. Portability benefit. If you switch employers or advance your career years down the road, your original priority date can be linked to your new employer's petition, saving you years of waiting. 2. In F-1B extensions post-OTT transition. Breaking the 6-year cap. The standard H-1B work visa maxes out at a total of 6 years. AC-21 Lifeline. Under the A-21 law, individuals with an I-140 facing per-country backlogs can extend their H-1B status in 3-year increments indefinitely. Lottery peace of mind. While you must still successfully transition from F-1 OPT to an initial H-1B via the annual USCIS H-1B lottery. Knowing you have an open-ended H-1B extension capacity removes massive long-term pressure once you are selected. Ultimate job portability and porting flexibility. Upgrading categories. If you start with an EB3 approval but gain 5 years of progressive experience or complete a master's degree, you can port your original priority date forward into a new EB2 petition. No cap re-entry. If you must temporarily return to India or work globally for a subsidiary, you can safely exit the US. Without resetting your green card line, a future employer can petition to bring you back on an H-1B without making you subject to the restrictive annual H-1B cap lottery. Direct benefits for spouses. H-4 EAD spousal work authorization. Once you move from F-1 OPT to H-1B status, your approved I-140 gives your dependent spouse the legal right to apply for an H-4 Employment Authorization Document, EAD. Unrestricted employment. Unlike your restrictive employer, sponsored visas, an H-4 EAD allows a spouse to work freely anywhere, open a business, or work in any industry without corporate sponsorship.
Filing an early green card as an Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holder locks in your priority date in the USCIS queue. Given the severe per-country caps and decades-long backlogs for Indian applicants, establishing an early spot prevents you from falling further behind in the multi-year wait. The specific benefits of early filing include securing your place in line. Because green card categories, such as EB2 and EB3, are oversubscribed.
Applying green card by Indian national, F-1 OPT EAD visa holders as early as possible would ensure you are ahead of thousands of later applicants.
First come, first serve. Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders will get a priority date as soon as your employer files the Perm Labor Certification with USCIS. Obtaining a priority date is a golden and official spot reserved by USCIS for green card applicants. Priority date offers first come, first serve basis by USCIS for all EB2 and EB3 green card applicants. Priority date retention. If your petition is approved, you retain your original priority date. This means if you later change employers or need to transition to a different category, your time spent in the queue is preserved.
Can I start filing my green card while I am on F-1 OPT EAD? Yes. You can certainly start filing your green card while you are on F-1 OPT EAD. This is the best possible approach to stand in queue for your green card. Moving from an F-1 student visa to a green card is entirely possible. Thousands of international students do it. Applicants already in the United States, the transition from an F-1 visa to a green card involves filing PWD, Perm Labor Certification, I-140, and I-485. Importantly, filing for an F-1 student visa to green card transition does not violate F-1 status when done through a qualifying immigrant petition from an employer. Every day, hundreds of students ask us the same question. Can I start filing my green card while I am on F-1 OPT EAD? Yes, you can certainly start filing your green card while you are on F-1 OPT EAD. This is the best possible approach to stand in queue for your green card. If you start filing your green card as soon as you get a job from an employer on your OPT EAD, you may save at least 3 to 5 years of time by standing in queue for your green card. F-1 OPT EAD visa holder will get a priority date as soon as your employer files the Perm Labor Certification with USCIS. Obtaining a priority date, PD, is a golden and official spot reserved by USCIS for green card applicants. Priority date offers first-come, first-served basis by USCIS for all EB2 and EB3 green card applicants. A green card priority date is essentially your official spot in line to apply for lawful permanent residency. Because the US government strictly caps the number of visas available each year, it dictates exactly when you can file your final application and legally receive your green card. For Indian citizens, an approved I-140 is a major milestone that unlocks critical work and travel flexibility, while waiting out the lengthy employment-based green card backlogs. It secures your priority dates and allows for indefinite H-1B extensions past the standard 6-year limit and H-4 EAD for spouses. Specific benefits include indefinite H-1B extensions. You can bypass standard 6-year H-1B limit and receive 3-year extensions until your green card becomes available. H-4 EAD eligibility. Your dependent spouse can apply for an Employment Authorization Document, EAD, permitting them to legally work for any U.S. Job portability. Under the American Competitiveness in the 21st Century Act, AC-21, and port your priority date without losing your place in line, provided your previous I-140 has been approved for at least 100. Priority date retention. Once an I-140 is approved, you lock in your priority date for the corresponding category, even if you change jobs or if the original employer withdraws the petition after 180 days. The priority date dictates when you can file the Form I-485 to finally adjust your status to a permanent resident. F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals. How to get ready for an EB2/EB3 green card filing. To get ready for an EB2 or EB3 green card as an Indian national holding an F-1 OPT EAD, you must secure a permanent job offer from an employer willing to sponsor you through the multi-stage Perm Labor Certification process, while simultaneously working to transition your F-1 visa to a dual-intent non-immigrant status like H-1B. Because India faces a massive backlog, obtaining your priority date as early as possible is the primary goal. Benefits of filing an early green card for an Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders establishes an early green card priority date. This places you sooner in line for visas, which is critical for mitigating years-long backlogs for Indian and Chinese nationals. Early filing also grants flexibility for travel and work, and allows for a smoother adjustment of status once your date is current, locking in a priority date. For an Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders, submitting your petition early ensures you get ahead of the queue. Because green card availability is constrained by annual limits and country quotas, securing a place in line early prevents your priority date from worsening later. Use H-1 Visa Bridge. Your H-1B visa acts as a bridge between your F-1 OPT EAD and green card. Because of the extensive backlogs for Indian nationals in the EB2 and EB3 categories, to stay in the US legally for the long term, you need your employer to file the H-1B visa. The H-1B visa allows dual intent, meaning you can freely travel and extend your stay indefinitely once your I-140 is approved. Register for H-1B. Request that your employer enter you into the annual H-1B visa lottery during your initial OPT and subsequent 24-month STEM extension. Dual intent advantage. Transitioning to H-1B status allows you to renew your visa indefinitely once an I-140 petition is approved, shielding you from expiring OPT limits. Navigate the three-stage green card process. The employer-sponsored EB2, Advanced Degree Exceptional Ability, and EB3, Skilled Workers Professionals process comprises three distinct phases. F-1 Permanent Labor Certification, PERM. Your employer must prove to the Department of Labor, DOL, that there are no qualified, willing U.S. workers available for your position. Prevailing wage determination. The employer requests the minimum wage requirement for your role from the DOL. Recruitment campaign. The employer runs mandatory job advertisements, for example, local newspapers or job boards. PERM filing. The employer submits Form ETA 9089 through the DOL flag system. 2. Form I-140, Immigrant Petition for Alien Worker. Once the PERM is approved, your employer files Form I-140 with United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Priority date. The day your PERM was filed becomes your official priority date, your place in line. Ability to pay. To employer financial documents proving they can pay your offered wage. Premium processing. This step can be expedited to a 15 to 45-day window using premium processing option. 3. Form I-485, Adjustment of Status. Due to country caps, Indian nationals must track the monthly visa bulletin issued by the Department of State. You can only file Form I-485 to receive your green card when your priority date becomes current DAT. Critical strategic preparations. Gather academic documents. Keep your official transcripts, degree certificates, and formal experience letters from all past employers ready.
F-1 OPT EAD Indian nationals. How can I get my green card sponsorship at the earliest? How to transition from an F-1 OPT EAD status to a green card as an Indian national, your most critical first step is to create a job with an employer willing to sponsor your permanent residency immediately as India faces severe employment-based visa backlogs. Step 1. Secure sponsorship and start the PERM process. Your employer does not need to wait for you to get an H-1B. They can sponsor your green card directly while you are on F-1 OPT EAD. Find an E-verified employer. Ensure your employer is registered with E-verify, so you can utilize your initial OPT and transition into a 24-month STEM OPT extension if eligible. Launch the PERM labor certification. Your employer must file a PERM application with the U.S. Department of Labor, DOL. This proves there are no willing or qualified U.S. workers. There are no UR for your position. Lock in your priority date. Once the PERM is approved, your employer files Form I-140, Immigrant Petition. The date this is filed becomes your priority date, your place in the multi-decade wait line for Indian national. Step 2. Secure a dual intent visa. The H-1B route, because the green card wait times for EB2 and EB3 categories span 10+ years, your 1 to 3 years of OPT/STEM OPT will expire long before your priority date becomes current. Enter the H-1B lottery. Have your employer CAP register you for the H-1B lottery every March during your OPT eligibility. Bridge the status gap. The H-1B visa allows dual intent, meaning you can legally renew it indefinitely once your Form I-140 is approved, allowing you to live and work in the U.S. while waiting for your green card line to move. Yes, Indian nationals can downgrade your employment-based green card from EB2 to EB3 while on F-1 OPT EAD. The primary reason to downgrade is to file Form I-485, Adjustment of Status, sooner if the EB3 priority dates are more favorable than EB2 in the USCIS Visa Bulletin. Filing I-140 only. USCIS rules state that an employer filing an I-1 petition does not violate your F-1 status or stop you from getting STEM OPT extensions while you stay inside the How the downgrade process works for F-1 OPT EAD visa holders. To downgrade, your employer does not need to redo the PERM labor certification if you are using the same PERM for originally approved for your EB2 case. Employer support. your employer must agree to file a new Form I-140 under the EB3 category, retaining priority date. The new EB3 petition will retain your original EB2 priority date. Filing options: standalone. File the EB3 I-140 first, can use premium processing if a copy of the original perm is accepted. Concurrent filing. If your priority date is current under EB3, your employer files the EB3 I-140 and you file your I-485 packet. You can file your I-765 for EAD and I-131 for advanced parole at the same time. Here is the recommended action plan specifically for an Indian national on F-1 OPT EAD. Visa holders need to consult. Visa holders need to consult with your company attorneys and confirm that your employer is willing to sign. Let's review the strategic comparison for F visa holders. We must compare staying in EB2 versus downgrading to EB3. Notice that with a downgrade, you don't lose your place.
An approved Form I-140 locks in your priority date. Securing your place in the green card allows you to bypass the standard H-1B 6-year limit by granting 3-year extensions, and if you hold the I-140 for more than 180 days, prevents your employer from revoking it. Key benefits include priority date retention. Your priority date determines when you can file. For your adjustment of status, Form I-485. Having an approved I-140 generally locks this date, even if you switch categories, for example, from EB2 to EB1, or change employers. H-1B extensions beyond 6 years. Under the AC-21 Act, H-1B visa holders with an approved I-140 can receive extensions in 3-year increments, beyond the statutory 6-year limit, until the green card becomes available. Irrevocable status after 180 days. If you hold an approved I-140 for at least 6 months, the petition remains valid for immigration purposes, even if your employer withdraws it or you leave the company. H-4 EAD eligibility. In many cases, an approved I-140 allows your dependent spouse on an H-4 visa to apply for an employment authorization document, permitting them to work in the United States. For highly backlogged categories, such as employment-based petitions for Indian and Chinese nationals, locking in the priority date is often considered the most critical milestone in the employment-based immigration process. You can track current waiting times and queue progression on the official USCIS Visa Bulletin. As an Indian national, can I start filing my green card while I am on F-1 OPT EAD? Yes, Indian nationals can certainly start filing your green card while you are on F-1 OPT EAD visa holders. This is the best possible approach for Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders to stand in queue for your green card. Start early and build your priority date. Moving from an F-1 OPT EAD visa to a green card is entirely possible. Thousands of international students do it every year. Applicants already in the United States. The transition from an F-1 visa to a green card involves filing PWD, Perm Labor Certification, I-140, and I-485. Importantly, filing for an F-1 student visa to green card transition does not violate F-1 status when done through a qualifying immigrant petition from an employer. Every day, hundreds of students ask us the same question. Can I start filing my green card while I am on F-1 OPT EAD? Yes, you can certainly start filing your green card while you are on F-1 OPT EAD. This is the best possible approach to stand in queue for your green card. If you start filing your green card as soon as you get a job from an employer on your OPT EAD, you may save at least 3 to 5 years of time by standing in queue for your green card. F-1 OPT EAD visa holder will get a priority date as soon as your employer files the Perm Labor Certification with USCIS. Obtaining a priority date, PD, is a golden and official spot reserved by USCIS for green card applicants. Priority date offers first-come, first-served basis by USCIS for all EB2 and EB3 green card applicants. A green card priority date is essentially your official spot in line to apply for lawful permanent residency. Because the US government strictly caps the number of visas available each year, it dictates exactly when you can file your final application and legally receive your green card. Why is EB3 green card moving faster than EB2? Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders? Yes, EB3 green card applications for Indian nationals is moving effectively faster than EB2 due to a total freeze in the EB2 category. According to the U.S. Department of State's August 2026 Visa Bulletin, the EB2 India category has completely run out of available visa numbers for the remainder of the 2026 fiscal year. This has rendered EB2 unavailable for final green card approvals until the annual numerical limits reset on October 1, 2026. Meanwhile, EB3 India continues to process final approvals with a cutoff date of January 1, 2014. Here is the current Visa Bulletin snapshot of 2026. Why EB3 is temporarily advantageous. Annual caps exhausted. The US government met its statutory limit for EB2V visas for Indian nationals early. As a result, no green cards can be physically issued under EB2 until the new fiscal year 2027 begins. The spillover effect. Historically, when other countries do not exhaust their allocated EB3 quotas, those excess numbers shift to highly backlogged nations like India. This frequently causes EB3 India to leapfrog EB2. Critical strategic green card considerations for F-1 OPT EAD visa holders. As an F-1 student, transitioning to an employment-based path, navigating this requires coordination with an immigration attorney and your sponsoring employer. The downgrade dilemma. If you already possess an approved EB2 I-140, you have the legal right to file an EB3 downgrade petition via an employer to try and capture an earlier date.
For Indian citizens, an approved green card perm labor certification provides 3 crucial benefits. It establishes your priority date in the employment-based green card backlog, allows for 1-year H-1B extensions past the standard 6-year limit while waiting, and serves as the mandatory first step toward filing your Form I-140. The benefits of having an approved perm include: locks in your priority date. For Indian citizens, the employment-based categories EB2 and EB3 face severe backlogs due to country caps. Your filing date becomes your official priority date, which acts as your place in line for eventual green card approval. Unlocks H-1B extensions. Under the AC-21 Act, if your perm application or subsequent I-140 was filed at least 365 days prior to your H-1B expiring, you are eligible to extend your H-1B status in 1-year increments until a final decision is made on your green card. Prerequisite for Form I-40. The Department of Labor's certified perm is the legal gateway required for your U.S. employer to submit Form I-140. Once your I-140 is approved and your perm-based priority date is at least 180 days old, you can port your employment to a new sponsor under AC-21 without losing your place in line.
EB2 or EB3? Which green card category is better for Indian national F-1 OPT EAD visa holders? EB2 is generally better for Indian F-1 OPT EAD visa holders because it positions you in a higher preference tier and avoids volatile down-tiering that heavily impacts the EB3 queue. However, given the severe multi-decade green card backlog for India, both categories function similarly as long-term holding patterns while on an H-1B visa. Here are the key differences between EB2 and EB3. Let's compare the EB2 and EB3 green card categories. For EB2, you generally need a master's degree. Both categories a perm labor certification. Why EB2 is predominantly advantageous? H-1B extension stability. Securing an approved I-140 in either category allows for indefinite H-1B visa extensions beyond the standard 6-year limit. However, entering the system via EB2 leaves you with more lateral options later on. Downgrade flexibility. It is legally possible to downgrade an EB2 petition to EB3 if the EB3 visa bulletin dates temporarily move ahead of EB2. You cannot upgrade an EB3 to an EB2 without an entirely new perm and higher corporate job requirements. Reality of the Visa Bulletin for Indian nationals. According to the latest August 2026 Visa Bulletin, the U.S. Department of State listed India EB2 as unavailable because the annual per-country caps for fiscal year 2026 were entirely exhausted. The dates will reset with a major advancement when the new fiscal year opens on October 1, 2026. Meanwhile, India EB3 sits at a final action date of January 1, 2014. Because both categories have decade wait times for Indian nationals, the primary goal for an F1 student is securing any approved I-140 to remain in the country safely. Filing early for a green card for an Indian national, F-1 OPT EAD visa holder locks in an early priority date. For Indian nationals facing decades-long employment-based backlogs, this establishes your place in line as early as possible. Because Indian-born applicants face significant statutory backlogs, establishing and holding an early priority date is the most impactful step you can take. The key benefits of securing this date while transitioning through F-1 OPT status include locking in the priority date. Your priority date is the day your perm labor application is received by USCIS. Your priority date determines your spot in the visa queue. Getting this done on an F-1 OPT gives you a massive head start over waiting until you secure an H-1B visa. H-1B cap exemption and extensions. Once you have an approved I-140 petition, it provides the foundation to extend your H-1B status beyond the standard 6-year limit in 1-year or 3-year increments while you wait for your green card to become current. Please feel free to reach out to Artifint Robotics Technologies at 945-468-8100 for more information on starting an employment-based green card process for F-1 OPT EAD visa holder.